Praise Him. I just wanted to come on quickly to give an update to the previous video that I made. There was a video that I made, and forgive me for looking down when I do look down because I'm looking at some notes. So there was a video that I made on November the 4th that I have not shared yet. So this is almost an introduction to that video. It is titled Stoneman Douglas Victims, Casualties of Racism. I understand the title, but I would definitely pray, and I'm asking that you definitely keep me in your prayers, and that you, if you know anyone that's in the military, please forward this video. As a matter of fact, my YouTube channel is Terry B's Consulting Solutions 360. That's on YouTube. That specific video is on YouTube as well. That I pray that you watch is extremely important, I think, for the best interest of everybody. To know how far people will go to keep someone from moving into a predominantly white neighborhood, to know how far people will go to keep a black young man from moving into a predominantly white neighborhood. This is what it's all about. My grandmother's death was not an accident by any means. You are only hearing this only because I have tried through every possible avenue to resolve this beyond in a civil manner. So on the video that you would hopefully watch, that's dated November the 4th, it also lacks the 7th, the update about the filing of a petition for the vulnerable adult. It is also missing a particular name. That name is Terry Williams Eden. It would be unfair, and this is in my opinion. It would be unfair for me to call out other particular people who are either in the political arena or either going into the political arena and not be able to mention that she's actually in the claim. I mean, it's unfortunate, but she's in the claim. If you go to terrybrewer.com and read the report, hit the report and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, unfortunately her name is on one of those. What I'm trying to do is, to be honest with you, I'm trying to say something quick enough just to give you an update. Pray that people will hear this enough that they will actually contribute, that they will actually give to this cause. I'm asking for $1.01 for CentsforSense101. The 7th time that I went to the court to present the vulnerable adult petition for basically someone who would be taking advantage, exploitation. It was denied, period. I had a relative to ask, about basically the appeal process, or, going back and how come I haven't done it. And to be honest, I just wasn't, didn't think about to tell her then, because it's been so many different things. And even right now, there's so many different things that I can't say that's happening, because it definitely would throw off the topic to the point that you would be in dismays. So I don't want to throw off the topic, but I can say definitely the reason why I need an attorney, and that I can't go back and just submit something regular anymore, is that there is a pattern, meaning submit something, any petitions, myself physically, to the Domestic Violence Division, or even now the state of Florida, through the state of Florida court portal, which was the 7th petition, which is way that was submitted. They were all denied. And the reason why I can't go back through that particular system without an attorney is because I believe that what I received as in a denial, the decision that I received in the papers, it shows that something's not right with the papers. They've been altered, forged. Specifically, and I mentioned in the other video, November the 4th video, about the time stamps. It is very important, even from people who, hey, if you don't know about it, no, you will know about it. That people are taking advantage of other people who are looking for protection in the courts. And so the papers that we're getting back, it's very hurtful to know that I have to question that. It's very hurtful to know that I don't have to question it anymore, because especially the seventh one, timestamps basically. So when you turn in a petition and the court stamps it, they file it, there is a timestamp on that particular file, those documents, to the very second, to the very, very second. If I had the time to play a particular voicemail, I would, but I don't. Unfortunately, I have been so afraid just to leave this house to seek medical attention, because I know that more retaliation is coming. I'm afraid that by the time I get back, will the house still be here? I don't know, to be honest with you. Keep me in your prayers. If you think that it's a joke, it's not. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It's not. So I'll go to the fact of me being put on and my grandmother, we were going to move over. Long story short, move over, dealing with the housing voucher. As I mentioned, in November the 4th, I was placed on. The only reason that they could have denied this particular petition or voucher as a housing voucher is to list me as a threat to my community. I was listed as a threat to the community. I was placed on a terrorist list. I was visited by particular people who definitely were agents, federal agents in different departments. That took place. All this occurred to keep me out. This particular voucher that needs to be filed or filled out for housing, it went all the way, it has to go all the way up to the Assistant Secretary of Housing, which letters went to Ben Carson. So that's 13 in succession of the presidency, from my understanding. I don't think I have a doubt, really, that because I may have been the first person to receive this type of voucher, and the importance of this voucher for me, which you would see in the November the 4th video, the importance of this particular voucher, why this, my case and what I'm doing and what I'm trying to continue to do is almost like the Brown versus Board of Education of housing, basically. That's how I can think about it. It offers particular incentives to particular people to do certain things. Those people are in that area of minorities. And again, I'll cut this short, but I need help, period. I can't, and the help I need is not help. I pray that those people that you forward this to, hopefully in the military, they will verify and confirm even medications have been switched without my consent. I don't know how dark it goes. I don't know how deep it goes. But what I do know is that without a doubt, I have been communicated to. I've had communications with particular people, and it is what it is. You should look up this called UAVs. Look up UAVs, look up Google UAVs or Google particular models of UAVs. There are particular models of UAVs. They're called unmanned aerial vehicles. So when you see them, you can see more like the image or a similarity to a commercial airline. So I say that to say that when there was a bombardment of investigations going from me and from my point, there was surveillance. I complained to one of the agents. I had a major argument with one of the agents because I have a background that deals in experience with volunteering with law enforcement. I've even worked, once with they called HIDA, High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area. I consulted them on a community development project once. I consulted the Broward County Sheriff's Office once in a community development project. But just to have done that should it should speak to the person that I am, or at least some of the experience that I may have had. And so getting back to the surveillance had gotten so severe is that I was complaining. I was like, there's no way in the world that this is particular surveillance, because this surveilling, when you surveil people, and it's okay, I was fine with it. But when you surveil people, it's supposed to be more covert, not blatant and upfront in your face. And that's what it has been. That's what it still is. If you go to the November the 4th video, it should explain it a little bit more in detail. I may remember it, may not remember it as much as I've gone into that video, because it was really scripted out. This isn't scripted out. This is Terry trying to leave to get medical attention, then come back. I've been trying to do that since last night and still in fear of me leaving and coming back to not my own place anymore. People may see me carry particular baggages. I carry baggage around. I would not be surprised if people didn't think that I was actually homeless. Even when I walked into the courthouse with those particular bags, it's like luggage. But if someone was to ask me, they will have known that those were all the legal documents that I now have to carry with me because of domestic situations that have been going on in the household. Things have happened within the household before. I've had ridicule. I've been literally backlash. When I start talking about family. But the thing is that when I go to proper authorities and when I make those reports, and the only reason that they can't carry through with those reports only out of retaliation due to a claim or a discrimination claim that I'm still fighting for, knowing that they've resolved this issue before, but now they seem to have turned the tides on it, and I don't blame them. I can point the finger to other particular people that are higher than him. So let me just get to the point of this video, besides just asking for the $1.01 for CentsforSense101 campaign. I want to plead to the military people. I want to make a plea to even the intelligence community. I understand how difficult, especially when it comes to particular investigations, not just investigations, but surveillances. And there is a major thick confidentiality, all types of stuff that happens. There are major penalties and consequences behind these. If these particular, if there is a breach, but in your heart, what all this is about. In your heart that you can verify what I'm saying, that Donald Trump, it started with Trump, that he literally started this surveillance, particular surveillance program. And this particular surveillance program models itself as a commercial airline. It's not a lie. If I was saying this 12 years ago, okay. If I'm saying this now, we're in 2022. I mean, back in world, whatever I want to call it, I would think that somebody tried to at least attach a camera on a commercial airline. We have people who can drive major, big drones, military style drones. It would not be far off to say, let me shell this in a commercial shell or something. So it looks like it's as if it's a commercial airline flight. It's not. I do not know how far this will be validated or how far it won't. I just know I'm praying on that validation specifically. I'm praying it would have to be somebody in the military or intelligence community. I can't, and then for some people, even in the military, the reason why I have not literally called particular people out of the intelligence community, not just military or anything else like that, is because, man, it's strict penalties around this stuff. It is strict penalties. Some of that, especially if Trump was still in, I mean, that's like death, treason, acts of treasons or something like that. It's strict penalties. But the reason why I'm pleading to them now is because when you think about it, and when the truth of the matter is that the Stoneman Douglas victims were casualties of racism, there needs to be an all-out war against racism now. And to those soldiers, to those intelligence agencies, those people, you know who you are, and there's other people who I have not met, but I guarantee you that they know me. I am begging you to please verify this to the press. It's bad when I go on the website and I get ready to look up class action lawsuits, because I know I'm not the only person. I know that a lot of people by now know that Trump went off and they just gave him all kinds of power, and he bullied even citizens. He terrorized citizens, and I was one of them, and I am one of them. Why is this continuing to go? I have no idea why is it continuing. But I do know one thing. The one thing I know is that definitely takes people to it takes people that can screw with people. It takes people to try to falsely validate things. That's what it takes. I do know that people have been vulnerable to it. I do know specifically me reporting a Florida fraud investigation, April the 6th, that was dealing with my grandmother, connected with my grandmother. There should be no reason, as far as my grandmother, there should be no reason why I'm looking at that someone went, and I'm saying someone because I'm trying to keep it neutral. I'm trying to keep it on track. That's what I'm trying to do. That someone went to the Social Security office and received a form stating that my grandmother only applied whenever, but when she did apply, she was there were 3 payments assigned to her that she never picked up, and that. When she did apply for Social Security, that it was for disability. My grandmother was receiving a retirement Social Security or something. My grandmother, for some of you who are in Fort Lauderdale, may know the George English Park. That's who she worked for as a maid. And she worked extremely hard. And then when she retired and when her husband died from the Army, she started collecting some of his pension too as well in her Social Security. Why does this matter? It matters this. Because there was a vulnerability of someone continuing to claim on IRS my grandmother as a dependent. Why is that important, Terry? Because there's a strict thing about claiming dependencies. That means you're spending more of your money or more than 50%. There's a law to it. But when somebody's making buku loads of money, at least an average of $1,000 a month, my granny, then it depends upon how long that person was claiming them. It could have been 20 years that person was claiming them for. Depending upon how important whatever issue that they as in particular governmental people are going after, they will find the weakest link within your family. Period. So now I go back to the Social Security thing for there should be no reason why her entire payment history of Social Security was erased and wiped as if she never received Social Security, as if 2019, as if 2019 was the first time she went to get Social Security. These were official documents. These documents are on the website. It's no way in the world somebody would create that much of a website and lie about anything. But the documents are on the website. There are official governmental paperwork that's coming from one entity, Social Security office, that has to go to another entity to pay for a light bill. And I forgot the name of this community center, but they are part of the government. Broward County, it's a Broward County center that helps pay for people's lights and stuff. Fraud. I'm telling you, it was fraud. I'm telling you that also covered and verified. Oh, okay, well, she just received it. Well, we're going to put you off the hook since you were claiming her as a dependent because you were paying for her. No, it's not right. Going back to the point, who would have that much authority to be able to authorize people within the Social Security office to wipe the history of my grandmother's payments? That is a very, very big deal. That was done in 2019. I'm saying between 2016 and 2021, I believe in my heart that there is a major class action that is brewing up somewhere because people let this man Trump off the leash. I have been very afraid to even say his name, to talk about his name, especially when my grandmother was alive, to point him out directly within my opinion, within my experience, with me knowing that my housing voucher was approved already, with me knowing that I had the approval date, with me knowing that I had the move-in date, with me knowing that it had to go all the way up practically to his office, with me knowing that letters were already sent to and signed, certified signature to Ben Carson's office, Secretary of Housing, knowing that I probably know, because of how I found it, I had to have been the first person to receive this type of voucher in the U.S. and to be black and to be moving into a predominantly white neighborhood. It is my belief and my opinion that the Trump administration wanted to make sure do not let that voucher request get to us. It happens all the time. I am begging for someone in the military and in the intelligence community to say something about this. Because at the end of the day, it is very hard, like for the Social Security, there should be no reason why I'm looking up class action lawsuits and all of a sudden Social Security's calling me. Now they want to review my disability. Can't happen. There should be no reason why their sirens continuing to go on or certain displays of law enforcement over displaying. And I understand the ratio. I know ratios when it comes to law enforcement and stuff. And closing out as far as my grandmother's death. A lot of people don't know my grandmother fell. She hit the back of her head. And for 3 days, on the last particular day or the day before, Broward Health took her off the ventilator. I say more details in November the 4th, so I'll be short. And then I have to go anyway and pray for me. But they took her off the ventilator. Before they took her off the ventilator, as I said before, to other people, I'm a volunteer guarding that Litem. My grandmother has always given me, probably for more than 15 years, she has given me power of attorney. And since there was a point that I was her power of attorney and healthcare surrogate at the time, there should be no reason why when I go there now, and I made the effort to say that if I'm going to do this for my granny, this is it. This is the it moment that she's been making sure that she was asking me to make sure she was okay, to take care of her, make sure she'll be all right. This is the it moment. And knowing how many family members we have, that was strong accountability. They pulled her off saying that she was going to be okay, that she was getting better. They had a plan for her therapy the next day. I can't tell you all the good things that they had coming, and they were so amazed. We were so surprised. At the end of the day, the next day I got a phone call stating that my grandmother was about to pass and that they couldn't remove anything because I had a DNR in place. DNR is do not resuscitate. And so I was arguing with him over the phone to no, do it. Let's get it going. That doesn't mean don't give her the heparin. There are certain heparins versus the chest compressions these are very different things. Skipping to it, my grandmother, she passed. If she passed, it was within the will. But it was within the will for her to, whether it was for a cause or not for a cause. But I can tell you one thing, as a matriarch of the family and somebody who is working, if you're working full time, as a full time position right now, no matter what, you're going to end up needing Social Security. You're going to end up needing Medicaid, if not Medicare. Some of y'all are going to end up needing Medicaid, and Medicare is definitely that's your projections. You need to know that people within the government, I'm saying employees, I'm not saying the government, but people keep saying the government. No, these are people who are abusing authority. They are corrupt people who keep doing it. And it is not their money. And they're messing up taxpayers' money. You don't understand the ripple effect, the domino effect that comes from people who are employees of the government using and abusing their authority for their interest and not yours. Horse of a different color. So I go back and I just plead basically to the military again. But my grandmother, the next day when she died, here's the difference. There should be no pathologist test that comes back that says that more than 70% of her lungs was collapse. Or in my guesstimates, because there were quadrants, the way that it was described 3 different sections of her lungs, and it appeared to be 70%. Okay, that collapse. Okay, great. Let's go further. There was more than what I'm guessing in a conversion, more than 6 ounces of thick liquid in her breathing pathways. And then you call me 5 minutes before she dies. By that time, from the pathologist's report, she had already had a massive heart attack because she was trying to compensate to breathe still. It was too late, man. She was off the ventilator for approximately at least 12 hours. She was in an intensive care unit. She received there was a 1-on-1 ratio. There was an RN nurse that was assigned to her for 24 hours in that intensive care unit. There's a 1-on-1 ratio in the intensive care unit that she was in at Broward Health. I am telling you that they have suctions for people, especially a 94-year-old, for aspirations or whatever they call it like that, pneumonia, the things that they were looking for and trying to prevent. They have all kinds of stuff. And those stats would have been shown way before she passed. Way before she passed. So instead of me giving my opinion, go to the website, terrybrewer.com, read it. And then $1, I'm just asking, it was really pennies. My campaign was really going to be about pennies, cents for cents. And for some reason, hey, maybe it works out because there's some type of minimum with Cash App or in PayPal. So it has to be, give me 101 cents. Now that I think it, Sense for Sense 101. If you read it, you will know something is not right. This boy has filed 7 different petitions and didn't receive not one approval. When I requested for a hearing, there was no hearing. Petitions for saying that you feel that you are in immediate danger. Letters that you will see on the website that has gone out to Social Security office, going out to the City of Fort Lauderdale Housing Authority, stating that there was abuse and danger going on within the household. That responsibility and that obligation are on those individuals and parties. Trust me. If what I'm saying is to be true, my grandmother's death was not an accident, and it was not an accident. So I pray all is well with everyone. If anybody knows too as well, Pastor Arthur Jackson, please forward this to him. I'm begging you to forward this to him. I have been trying to reach this man. So now, literally, I have been trying to reach my church to get help for a full year, and I can't reach the senior pastor. For some reason, I have been blocked from that. And that has been a direct attempts in reaching him. The indirect attempt started in probably July of 2020 of trying to reach him. You know, Pastor Robinson literally had an attorney to call me. The attorney that called me accepted the case, wanted to verify and wanted to make sure that I understood and knew that he was just a one-man person pretty much in his law office. Any attorney, I think, and this is why I'm glad I'm mentioning Ben Crump, because I forgot the Ben Crump, but any attorney, I think, would almost want this case because of when you have a client that files and does particular things, and it's like it's really good that they have done this because it prevents a lot of legwork for them. They would love it. And so this person literally lied and said that he told me he never represented me. This person, I didn't have his number. He called me from the directions of the Church of Pastor Robinson at the Antioch Missionary Baptist Church in Miami Gardens. And then he all of a sudden gaslights me and lied to say he never told me that. I have too much documentation. I am pleading for someone who knows Pastor Jackson specifically, because for some reason, even trying to get a meeting with him, just a one-on-one video conference with a pastor, you know, I was told, well, what date would you like? What day would you like? What day would you like? What day would you like? And I'm saying, ma'am, I'm sure he's more busy than me. Just tell me the different available days. That went on for months, more than 4 months, until I finally heard from an email that he only does Zoom meetings on Thursdays. And I have proof of that. I have no problem saying that I have proof for all of it. I just pray to the Lord that I'm still able to keep it. I have a storage bin right now. I'm on Social Security SSI. I have been paying for the storage that keeps those case files in there. I have been paying for my own food. I've been trying to do my own business, to be honest with you. But this has been so engulfing since 2016 because I haven't let it go. It's my right not to let it go. It's my right not to let it go and to seek a fair investigation. And I guarantee you, it just needs to get out. People have been covered up. Things have been covered up. There has been someone wrote a letter to an attorney, to Congressman Hastings, that they spoke with my attorney about the whole housing issue. They did not. Why? How do you know, Terry? I never had an attorney during that time frame. I never had an attorney yet, period, first of all. And then not a high-priced attorney that was downtown across the street from the city of Fort Lauderdale. Not the same attorney who was, he's basically associated with another firm that the emails was being tracked to, that basically showed that they had intention then. They, as in the City of Fort Lauderdale Housing Authority, had intention then to reject me and to try to make sure that I did not get that type of housing project, that I did not get that type of housing and move into a predominantly white neighborhood downtown Fort Lauderdale. So I pray again that people have heard this, that you please, terrybrewer.com, you click on give, and I'm just asking for $1.01. That's it. And allow me, basically, if nobody else wants to throw an investigation, I promise you I have enough information to put an investigation out there and a private investigation out there, because the government does not want to investigate the government. People within the government, basically, they're investigating themselves. So it's not government. I want to switch from saying the name government and investigating government. It's people within, it's those employees that technically can't investigate themselves. So how do we deal with it? I don't know. Let me do the investigation. Help me out. Help me get an attorney. Ben Crump. Last thing. If anybody knows Ben Crump, please forward this thing to Ben Crump. For an entire year, if not more than an entire year, now, it has to be more than an entire year, I have made 2 attempts. And out of those 2 attempts of me reaching Ben Crump, for some reason, there have been 2 separate law firms that has posed as Ben Crump, in my personal opinion. There should be no reason why I look up Ben Crump and I'm looking at an address and I'm saying, now, Ben Crump doesn't have an office in Plantation. Huh? I'm not sure if Ben Crump is partners with Morgan & Morgan like it says. Not sure. Still not sure of that yet. But for me to be sure, let me drive myself to that office personally to make sure this is Ben Crump's office before I send any other letters in the mail. Why, Terry? Because even the United States Post Office is on my claim. Why, Terry? Because mail has been redirected. Certain systems has been interrupted in mails or in certain basically answers or letters of response. There's legal response time. You have to respond. No. They've been interrupted. Period. Under, I believe, the Trump administration. I believe that people, even though it's Biden, I think people that are still within the administration, they haven't gone anywhere. And do they want this particular thing to get to the top to know what's happening? No way in the world. There have been too many people. Please, whatever you do, go back and listen to the November the 4th tape. Ben Crump. If you go on the website, it'll say the real Ben Crump, ? You'll see a pattern. So by the time I got to that office and I asked, there should be no Colescott Sachs or Cassane. Colescott Cassane. And I'm saying, and I asked about the Ben Crump. Is the Ben Crump here? No. Is Morgan & Morgan here? No, Morgan & Morgan's not even there anymore. So I'm saying, why? So now I have to look up Cole, Scott, and Cassane. I don't know who those people are. I didn't know. This is not something of me saying intentionally when I say this. I'm telling you, I didn't know who they were. And so as soon as I'm looking them up, do I count it to be a coincidence that Colescott Cassane is the law firm that is defending the school board of Broward County in the Stoneman Douglas shooting? No, I don't. Because the entire time I'm saying that people put me on a terrorist list to prevent me from moving in a predominantly white neighborhood, and they abused their power so much, and they used resources to investigate me that could have been found, in my opinion, that could have prevented the Stoneman Douglas shooting, in my opinion. And with the surveillance that I have seen, that I have been exposed to, in my opinion, there's no way in the blue sky world that would have happened. Not with this technology that's out. Not at all. But I can't keep talking about it. I can't keep trying to plead it. And I only forward this to someone in the military, specifically even the Air Force. It's very important for the Air Force. If you know somebody that did the Heroes Tour, there's a Heroes Tour that the U.S. Air Force did with the Blue Angels. If you know someone in there, literally, this is who you forward it to. Please, I'm begging you, forward it to them. And I'm begging those particular people, whoever it is that joined the military or joined the intelligence, stating that they would give their life, because really, this is the penalty for all of it. Or that's the highest penalty. If you would give your life for the highest thing in when it comes to your country, and you understand what's happening, what's going on, you're the only people I can actually go to ask this type of request, because you're prepared for it. And you definitely know that the resources was used were not true. The resources was misused and overwhelmingly. And I'm sure you know of other citizens and Americans that are going through the same thing. I'm begging you, please verify this. I thank everybody very much. Please, if you have any questions, ask questions in this my YouTube channel. I have no problem in responding. If I haven't responded, literally, either I'm completely overwhelmed or I just didn't read it yet. That's it. But there needs to be a conversation. There needs to be more than a conversation. There needs to be an action to it. But I just need verification. Keep me in your prayers as I go, just to verify, make sure I'm good with my health and everything, because of some additional stuff. But it's sad when even medical, you can't trust particular medical things, because you have their name, you have a medical company name or a hospital name on maybe a claim, the report as far as retaliation, because it spread it that far. But because of that one employee, now it brings in a whole company to now invest their energy in preventing you from filing or to pleading a discrimination claim / retaliation, because now it includes them. A major, monstrous corporation off of one person's actions, and that one person within the medical field could have been blackmailed or anything. But at the end of the day, thank you very much for listening. You all stay blessed.